And taking it from the format of the question, I would like to put it in this way. In the last 10 years, between then and now, including the period I served there at the top level of security, the challenges still remain the same. And the solution is yet to be fully implemented. From my own practical experience and engagement, the challenges in Northwest, particularly with banditry, is more or less a byproduct of neglect and vacuum of governance. I repeat, neglect and vacuum of the governance. The insecurity in Northwest, particularly in the area where I served, which in some literature they call it epicenter now. We came to empirical conclusion that these people are resenting maltreatment. And that's why you see them attacking farmers, villagers in Latin America. I have interacted with them and asked them this question. Why are we where we are? And they told me, or my team, that they are where we are because of abysmal neglect. Neglect in terms of infrastructure, neglect of inclusiveness, neglect in terms of even economic freedom and social justice. Let me itemize it. They used to talk and complain with nostalgia their existential circumstances during the Sardauna era. They used to say that even elementary facilities like Ekdam that were operating during Sardauna time, they are no longer there and they are not maintaining anything. They used to complain equally too that simple, responsive engagement, like availing them veterinary services, which they say their fathers enjoy under Sardauna, is no longer there. Veterinary services in the sense that government veterinary department will come and inoculate the animals free. Government to make provision for where they do grazing unhindered. Apart from the Northwest, the whole of former northern Nigeria, we had what we call forest reserves. And by the vision of Sardauna government, the essence of forest reserve was that people like this, who are grazers, hunters, and people who actually are loving nature could always come there and express themselves. But if you look at our map today, where are the forest reserves? Now, beside that, even there's no inclusive governance. In the Northwest, particularly in the area I served, these headers are aboriginal personalities. They are not migrant headers there. They are indigenous. Their forefathers were born there. But the services available to their contemporaries who are in the township, they don't have it. And they used to ask me, because I done as a CP, they will ask you, because they see the CP as personification of government. And they were free to talk to me because they used to tell me, open their heart in the sense that they said, I am not in any of the divide. I'm not Fulata and I'm not Bahuse. So being that as it may, they see me as a neutral government security authority and whose penetrative involvement to them was taken to be serious and sincere.
Yes, when you speak of they, can you...
I'm talking about headers, Fulani herdsmen. In the Northwest where I serve, they say banditry. The major executioners of banditry, from the way I saw and from the way I have my record, not that I read, that I managed, were Fulani herdsmen. And another major complaint is that even their own contemporary Fulani speaking people, who are now in governance are educated, they disconnect them. They don't really deal with those ones who are illiterate and who are in the bush. They complain about it. That to the extent that even when they bring their cattle to the market, one intermediary will stand between them and the final buyer. They complain to me. And when adversity befalls them, we don't really do anything for them.
So
and yet, these people, not that they migrated to our zone, they are aborigine of that zone.
Sorry, I have to interject because they complained to you, and you know it is good you're telling us this perspective. But what did you do with those complaints?
I'm coming to that.
Yes, we're watching our time. Yes.
I know. Look, time is of essence.
Yes.
But putting it in proper perspective, as part of our adding value to national development, is more important than time. If what we are doing is for national development and national security of our country, listening to ourselves and taking every inch of the conversation with seriousness. But if you make it like academic presentation, well, so be it.
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. The point is that these are inbuilt mechanism of aggression that we must address. If you look at the Northwest today, we had many irrigation projects before. How many new ones have we added? How many ones have we maintained? What is the condition of the Baccalaureate Dam today? Which serves people who do grazing and people who do farming. In the local government areas, these herders who are in the bush, they are not part of the local government governance. What prevents us to make some of them to be councillors? After all, they are in their state of origin. And to be a councillor, you don't need to be speaking English like Abuja. You can be a local councillor speaking your local language and contributing to development. Some of these people we call bandits, their parents and grandfathers are living in the local government headquarters. We know their families. Only that they migrate from the settlement area and stay on top of the hill in their community. That's why there are many. For example, we have up to 300 different groups. We know them, we know their fathers, they are younger ones, they are in the bush. It's a kind of agitation. And we need to create a more. Do you know that some of the states we serve, even to speak full day on television, on radio, which is still part of cultural integration, we don't do it. How do we talk to people when we don't carry them along on a very serious note? And we have to articulate this as security analysts and take it to political authority for execution.
In other words, you are speaking of a widening gulf between, you know,
that is the inclusion I'm talking about, the exclusion.
And then
sure,
the others.
Sure. These people are saying it. Nobody's listening to them.
So I'd like to know what you were going to tell us what you did with those complaints.
I just said what we did. What we did as security authority is to aggregate these real and practical and verifiable grievances and present it to executing body. The police, of course, is not the executing body of policy. The political authority has to translate it into action.
State or federal?
It's a state and local.
And that was
state and local. I'm not saying it was not done. No. That's not what I'm saying. No.
What are you saying, sir?
What I'm saying, I'm not on the ground there to assess what is on the ground now. I was there 4 years ago.
But at that time, was it done? Did you see any pathway to implementation of the recommendations you and your team made?
It was in the pipeline before I left. And I don't know whether the pipeline has been opened. The implementation mantra was in the pipeline. Okay, we have a situation whereby even the local government headquarters of our 16 local government areas, then none of the chairmen actually live there.
All right.
So when you add it up, you discover that there's governance vacuum. CP. And it's still there to AIG now, not CP again.
Yes.